Hi there, I'm hoping you're having a good time and welcome to this video. So this topic actually have a lot of bearing on me at the moment. I won't bore you with the details of that, but basically we are all confronted with a lot of things that we can only categorize as evil. I'm sure I don't have to give you any examples of that. But why do people act in evil ways? Or how can we understand evil without having to delineate ourselves from it or by projecting it onto somebody else? Because don't we all have evil within us? And how do we tame our own evil nature? We may not look at all of these very deep topics in this video, but I think that sin and virtue are better terms to use instead of evil or good or evil or divine. And we will look at why that may be in this video. Sin is definitely a dirty word because of the history of Catholicism and whatever they did or interpreted sin as, and then the reactions towards Catholicism that happened for the centuries to follow. Evil in the religious sense also have the same fate, but we understand when we say that something is evil because it involves harming another living being, especially an innocent living being. But sin is a concept that is quite alien to anybody who is living in the modern world, I think. Some say that sin is the unwillingness to do good in the world. In Christianity, there are 7 cardinal sins. But as we said before, we are looking at the concept of sin according to Hinduism. And according to Hindu philosophy, there is actually no concept of sin. What we have are the Shadripus, or the 6 enemies of the mind. So what are the 6 enemies of the mind or Shadripus? Kama or desire, Krodha or anger, Lobha or greed, Mada is arrogance or pridefulness, Moha is attachments to the worldly pleasures that we have in our lives, and Matsarya is jealousy or envy. So why are these qualities, quite human qualities, called the enemies of the mind? If you really look at anything bad, mad things that is going on, something that we would call evil, you would see that one of these 6 qualities would be behind those evil acts, or sometimes a combination of them. And we also see that in the Hindu mythological stories, gods and the incarnations of all the gods come into the living form in this universe just to annihilate people who embody these bad qualities, or to annihilate the 6 enemies of the mind in people's minds. The best example would be Ravana, who had all the 6 enemies of the mind, unfortunately, and had to be killed by Sri Rama. Then there is the Kaliya, who was an arrogant and prideful Naga king, who was also humbled by Sri Krishna. And then there is the great king Mahabali, who was greedy and boastful and prideful, and his bad quality was also destroyed by an avatar of Lord Vishnu. And then there are also a lot of stories from the Shiva Purana wherein a lot of Rakshasas and Asuras had to be annihilated or taught a lesson because of the 6 bad qualities of the mind that they possess. There is this really amazing quote from Bhagavad Gita where Sri Krishna basically says this:
As a man contemplates sense objects, attachment for them arises. From attachment, desire for them will be born. From desire arises anger. From anger comes delusion. From delusion comes loss of memory. From loss of memory comes destruction of discrimination. And from destruction of discrimination he perishes.
This quote single-handedly can explain a lot of bad or evil things or just undesirable things that are happening around us right at this moment. What do you think? And the second reason is that the Shadripus, or the 6 enemies of the mind, if you have them, then they will keep you from self-actualizing or attaining the ultimate goal in this human life, that is moksha or mukti. In Hinduism, basically there is no reward system wherein they say that if you did something good, then you will be rewarded or you will go to heaven, or if you do something bad, then you will be punished or you will go to hell. And yes, I know that people do find ways to incorporate and enforce this in Hinduism as a religion, because organized religions require fear and guilt to control people. But if you go to the roots of this, if you go to the roots of Hindu philosophy, you will find that there is no reward, reinforcement, punishment system. And you will find this philosophy in the ancient texts, the ancient Sanskrit texts that talk about moksha, yoga, or spirituality. They never say that you should avoid the Shadripus or the 6 enemies of the mind to get rewards or to save yourself from anything. But that does not mean that there are no rewards. Of course, there are rewards, but the rewards are: 1, sustained, authentic happiness and positivity flowing through your life, and 2, mukti or relief from sufferings and afflictions and diseases that you have or you could have in your life. But yeah, the most important thing about avoiding the 6 enemies of the mind, which is something that most people forget. If you allow any one of these Shadripus to take space in your conscience, or if you pay attention to any of the 6 enemies of the mind, then you will lose your connection from your inner awakening, your inner self, your real self. And it doesn't matter how advanced or how far along you are in your spiritual journey, if you allow yourself to be consumed by any one or more of these 6 bad qualities of the mind, then you will instantly find that you have fallen down and you will lose all that progress that you have attained spiritually. And once again, the perfect example for that is Ravana, because we know that he was a very learned scholar and a genius of a person, but he let himself be consumed by all the 6 qualities that ruined him, and he went on to do a lot of evil things that hurt a lot of people. And that is also why Shiva has burnt Kamadeva, and he wears Kama on his skin as bhasma, the burnt ashes of Kama, because that is how you should treat the Shadripus. You should burn it inside and you should keep it out of your body. I hope that it makes sense. So like you hear from spiritual people often, when the next time you find yourself being attached to something or craving something, or you feel like going after something, or feeling jealous that you have something which, or you don't have something which somebody else have, just remember that these things might ruin your peace of mind or your true authentic happiness, and try and take your mind away from this. That's an advice that I'm giving you. Take it if you want. Like we already discussed when we were talking about the Shadripus, having Brahmaviharas or these virtue will not save you from anything. Neither will you be rewarded by anyone if you have these virtues or Brahmaviharas within you. But the Brahmaviharas or these virtues radiate from a self-aware, pure mind full of compassion. These individuals who possess these virtues are naturally happy, positive, and they are thankful for everything that they have in their lives. So what are these Brahmaviharas? I've actually talked about this in another video where we talked about why Rama had to kill Ravana. But basically the Brahmaviharas are: 1, upeksha, which is equanimity or non-attachment. There is no attachment to sadness or towards joy. Karuna, which is compassion, not just towards others but also self-compassion. And then there is Maitri, which is unconditional friendliness, again not just towards others but towards ourselves also. And lastly, there is Mudita, which is genuine joy that you feel when you see another person being happy, or when you see the well-being of another person. So these are the 4 virtues according to the Hindu philosophy or the Eastern philosophy, because these concepts are there in a lot of other Eastern traditions as well. So by overcoming the Shadripus and making your mind still and making your mind come under your control and without any fear or anxiety, you slowly begin to develop the Brahmaviharas or these virtues. And then you will see that you're also developing as an individual, you're becoming more self-aware and compassionate. And then you will also see that you have everything that you ever needed in this life and more. And you will also begin to see that creativity and compassion flows very easily through you. That is what will happen if you are able to control your mind and keep your mind away from the 6 bad qualities or the 6 enemies of the mind, and begin to slowly cultivate the Brahmaviharas or the virtues. Let me know what you think about this. So coming back to my original point where I said that it was better to use the word sin instead of evil and virtue instead of good or divine, because as we see here, the 6 enemies of the mind or the Shadripus are most often the cause behind all the evil or wrong or bad things that we choose to do sometimes. So there is a way to control these 6 bad qualities or the 7 cardinal sins. They are almost the same, and we can overcome them in a particular way, or there are lots of ways to overcome it. And by overcoming them, we get to lead a very positive and happy life where we have authentic happiness, compassion and gratitude in life. So I think that is a good way to look at the world and life. I want to end this video by sharing with you this quote by Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. When the divine vision is attained, all appear equal, and there remains no distinction of good and bad or high and low. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button and share it with somebody. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more content like this, and have a novel time. Thank you. Hi guys, and here is the first book I have written, Life in a Ziploc Bag. It's the story of 4 teens living in a city and the impactful reality of modern life, where we often chase love, intoxication and adventure. Does it seem like a story that you would be interested in? If so, please check it out on Amazon or Flipkart. And it's also available for direct buying from the publisher itself. All these links are given in the description. Grab your copy now. Thank you.